The achievements registered are both on the policy front and investments. On the policy front, key pieces of legislation were passed by the 11th Parliament. They include the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP, Special Provisions Bill 2021, Electricity Amendment Bill 2022, and the Mining and Minerals Bill.
If we are delayed in passing the EACOP bill, the whole process would go back to negotiations that had taken 4 years to negotiate. So I'm a very happy chairperson. Secondly, I must say that the National Development Plan 3 focuses on the mineral subsector as one of the areas where we can add value for socio-economic transformation.
The signing of the final investment decision in February this year was historic. The commitment by the joint venture partners CNOOC and Total and government to fast-track oil and gas production has already led to sharp increase of foreign direct investment as the country strives to realize the 2025 oil production target.
This project, as people are saying, is a very important one for this region. You hear that in the next few years, Mr. Puyani and the CNOOC people, they are going to put in $10 billion in this effort. This oil can make some contribution, and it's most welcome. And I salute and congratulate the Total Energy and CNOOC for finally reaching final investment decision, because I was getting a bit impatient.
Announcing the first oil to come out in 2025 is not only a social statement, socio-economic statement, but a political statement for us as Ugandans and also as East Africa at large.
Investment in the oil and gas sector has increased in the recent years from approximately $180 million in 2020 and $500 million in 2021. These investments are expected to increase to about $3 billion in 2022.
I've been impressed by the level of local content I'm seeing there in the companies which have been contracted to do the work, and their subcontractors and the Ugandans who are on the ground already, earning, working, gaining skills. I'm sure by the time the sector peaks in terms of activity, many Ugandans would have been able to get fully integrated in the sector, take full advantage.
It's within the same period that government in partnership with the development partners unveiled the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan. Pursuant to the international standards, corporate actors in the oil and gas value chain bear the duty of due diligence, requiring them to identify, prevent and mitigate adverse environmental and human rights impacts flowing from their operations.
The responsibility to pay for the cost of the spill remains on the international oil companies, and where government of Uganda is required to intervene in case of a national disaster, the costs of government will be borne by the international oil company that would have resulted into a spill.
The oil spill contingency plan will enable redress for any of these adverse effects.
Our experience around the world is that many countries put plans like this in place long after they have produced oil, but also, unfortunately, after incidents that are not desirable have occurred.
Commercial production of oil and gas requires infrastructure such as production wells, processing plants, pipelines and storage facilities. Petroleum supply infrastructure will also be required. Primarily, licensees and operators shall implement preventive measures to ensure that oil spills do not occur, and in case it does, detect quickly, stop and limit the consequences. The energy sector has also recorded significant development in the one-year period, most especially on the solar development. As the government strives to get majority of the population into the money economy, reliable and efficient power supply, even for the marginalized communities, is paramount. Some of the new plants commissioned include Lolwe Mini Grid in Namayingo District on Lake Victoria, Lamo Mini Grids in Lamo District, and the 4-megawatt Busitema solar power plant.
The aim is to increase access to electricity for productive uses based on renewable energy technologies.
The initiative by government and development partners seek to improve the energy mix dilemma. Presently, close to 80% of Uganda's installed electricity capacity is from hydropower. Other energy sources are from cogeneration, thermal, and solar photovoltaic. However, compared to the mineral sector, the energy sector is facing numerous challenges that impede on its steady progress. This includes vandalism of electricity infrastructure, power theft, access to and cost of connection, and loss of public funds through dimmed energy, among others.
People vandalize. We are making efforts to expand the grid, to get these mini grids. People vandalize, they steal the wires.
Giving away 193 billion Ugandan shillings every year for dimmed energy is just not realistic. It is wasteful.
We have more than 211,000 customers waiting to be connected. Given that the obligation to fund those connections rests with the government of Uganda, when the government of Uganda provides the funding, we will connect those customers faster.
With the effective implementation of the new sector policies, there is hope that most of the challenges grappling the sector will be history. Sigoa for UBC News.